I'm not an actor, a singer, or a politician. I'm Herschel Walker.
Herschel Walker is a name we don't hear from anymore.
Police described Herschel Walker as the suspect in a January 2012 incident detailed in an Irving, Texas police report, where a girlfriend said Walker allegedly threatened to blow her head off during a dispute.
People want to ask me all the time why I'm running. I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of them wanting to teach CTR in school.
Did you know Herschel's ex-wife accused him of, quote, physically abusive and extremely threatening behavior? That she desperately sought a protective order after Walker threatened to kill her. Did you know Herschel once held a razor to her throat? And his ex-wife said he choked her. And, quote, he held the gun to my temple. Or that Herschel's mistress told police that Walker threatened to, quote, blow her head off.
He had quite a rap sheet prior to his failed run for the Senate.
Did you know about the cheerleader who accused Herschel of threatening and stalking her, following her to her home?
At one time, science said man came from apes. Did it not? Well, this was interesting, though. If that is true, why are there still apes? Think about it.
You know, now you're getting too smart for us.
No. Think about this.
And I said, what we need to do is look into how we can stop those things. You know, he talked about doing a disinformation. What about getting a department that can look at young men, that's looking at women, that's looking at just social media?
Parents getting involved with your child is very, very important. But also adults getting involved with kids, because some kids do not have a parent, a mother or father. So I don't think I want to leave that kid behind.
And his attempt to deceive voters backfired.
It turns out that until now, he's never publicly acknowledged 3 of his own children. Walker was ordered to pay child support starting in 2014. This whole thing came out because of a paternity suit from the mom.
Oh, you ever watch a stupid movie late at night, hoping it's gonna get better, don't get better, but you keep watching it anyway? Because the other night I was watching this movie. Called Fright Night, Freak Night, or some type of night, but it was about vampires. I don't know if you know vampires are cool people, are they not? But I'm gonna tell you something that I found out. A werewolf can kill a vampire. Did you know that? I never knew that, so I didn't want to be a vampire anymore. I wanted to be a werewolf. But then anyway, as I'm watching this movie, and then you can tell how stupid it is because it's 1 in the morning. So I'm watching my TV. These kids watching their TV. Vampire kill on their TV. So you know it's kind of stupid, but I'm still watching.
His rants were not only misinformed, but belong on Saturday Night Live.
You gotta keep the faith. You gotta keep the faith. I was watching a movie. You ever watch a movie late at night, think the movie gonna get better, it don't get no better, you keep watching it anyway? I was watching this movie, Fright Night, Freak Night, some sort of movie, but it was a bunch of vampires in the movie. Didn't notice, but vampires are pretty cool people, aren't they? We all agree on that. I was watching that movie, Fright Night, about the vampires. I didn't know this. Did you know that a werewolf could kill a vampire? I didn't know that. I found that out. I was like, I want to be a werewolf. I don't want to be a vampire no more. And those are the exact words verbatim from Herschel Walker and a campaign event.
Speaking of, comedian Roy Wood Jr. used Walker's own material in his set. So why do we bring up his name? It is because there is a report out that we really need to discuss. Via Politco, Georgia and national Republicans in dire need of money are furious that Walker is sitting on more than $4 million in leftover campaign funds and seem to have no intention of using it to help the GOP or former President Donald Trump in the key battleground state in November. According to the FEC, that figure is roughly $4.3 million. Business Insider would add, Walker previously contributed $100,000 to the National Republican Senate Committee for a recount fund. He also gave about $400K to charities, per Politico. He's given no clear indication he'll be involved in Georgia politics, probably a good thing, at least at the moment. After his L to Raphael Warnock, he resumed his studies to complete his undergraduate degree. This is where I introduce you all to a man named John Watson. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution would write of the man when he was elected as chairman of the Georgia GOP that he is a capital lobbyist with deep ties to former Governor Sonny Perdue and United States Senator David Perdue. Not a flex. Watson spoke with Politico, and I have to read you this quote, and then we'll recap. Those resources were solicited and given to support his candidacy as a Georgia Republican, and unless he intends to use them again for his own candidacy, I sure hope the favor would be returned. Georgia Republicans should be supported by those dollars in whatever legal fashion the campaign can. The writer Brittany Gibson would type in her piece when reached by phone. Herschel Walker denied the 7-figure bank balance of unspent funds. It wasn't money left in my account, he said. Everyone keeps saying that. When he was asked to clarify what exactly he meant, Herschel Walker would quickly end the call, saying he's in the middle of writing a paper. He'd then go on to tell Gibson we could talk about it sometime, but then when she followed up multiple times, he ghosted her. Here's the most hilarious part. A Georgia GOP strategist with knowledge of Herschel Walker's campaign said the unspent funds should be refunded to donors, shared with Republican committees, or used to help Trump in the 2024 contest. This is a candidate that the Georgia GOP bent the knee to because they bent the knee to Donald Trump. You see, trickle-down economics sometimes works. It's just for the elitists. So here is where you all should be rooting for Herschel Walker. They claim that they are broke, right? And that they really need this money. Herschel Walker should hold on to this money. And this is the only time that I will be rooting for him, aside from getting his degree. Why? Because when Republicans have less money, it's good. But here's where I call BS on this entire thing. I believe that this is a way to try and pressure Herschel Walker to give in, to give back the money, which he should not do. They're going to be fine. I have to be very clear about this. I think this is a bunch of malarkey that they are putting out saying that they are broke.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world.
It's wise to show the NFL, and specifically Roger Goodell's response.
Roger, in light of the NFL's commitment to diversity, anything to add to the league statement last week on Harrison Butker's wide-ranging commencement address?
No. To Harrison Butker's speech.
There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. There's people being murdered unjustly and not being held accountable. Cops are getting paid leave for killing people. That's not right.
And in contrasting styles, Colin Kaepernick.
We believe everyone should stand for the national anthem. And it's also important for us to honor our flag and to our country.
When the hammer came down on the quarterback in the form of structural policy changes.
I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother. I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, homemaker.
Because you see, Butker, the kicker for the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs, believes women should not focus on their careers and instead focus on pleasing men because he hides behind the scripture, or at least he thinks.
Listen, we have over 3,000 players. We have executives around the league. They have a diversity of opinions and thoughts, just like America does.
It is shocking to see the responses from Goodell because
people of color have been targeted by police. If we have these conversations, there's a better understanding where both sides are coming from. And if we reach common ground and can understand what everybody's going through, we can really affect change and make sure that everybody's treated equally and has the same freedom.
When Kaepernick had a message that was of inclusivity and bringing to light the serious issues plaguing American citizens, Goodell had a different approach.
You know, we've moved on here.
That they despised what Colin Kaepernick stood for and, in the commissioner's words, moved on after his silent knee.
As a group, you witnessed firsthand how bad leaders who don't stay in their lane can have a negative impact on society. Be unapologetic in your masculinity, fighting against the cultural emasculation of men. Do hard things. Never settle for what is easy. You might have a talent that you don't necessarily enjoy, but if it glorifies God, maybe you should lean into that over something that you might think suits you better. But instead met with excitement and pride. Not the deadly sin sort of pride that has an entire month dedicated to it, but the true God-centered pride that is cooperating with the Holy Ghost to glorify Him.
It should not be lost on us how Goodell and Co. handle someone like this and his pro-discrimination approach.
I think that's something that we treasure, and that's part of, I think, ultimately what makes us as a society better.
Because he is not condemning, he is not changing policy, he's basically giving the Drewski meme. Go after women? Cool. Go after DEI, which is now a dog whistle to just mean black people? Cool. Go after the LGBTQ plus community? Cool. Goodell cannot give a damn, which is a far cry from this.
So we're waiting for the 32 owners, the 32 teams, Roger Goodell, all of them to stop running. Stop running from the truth, stop running from the people.
Colin Kaepernick, to this day, being blackballed from the league. But let's go over why this won't happen to Harrison Butker.
Well, you know, Sean, this is just a classic left-wing hypocrisy. What we're seeing here is woke capital.
It's because Christian nationalists like Josh Hawley run the country. Speaking of, look at this. Harrison Butker and Josh Hawley together at a man event for men with tough men being men.
Pastor Jeffers?
Yes.
Prayer? Let's pray together, may we?
Yes.
Father, your word says...
Amen. It's beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Enabled, of course, by the former president of the United States, even though behind closed doors, Donald Trump makes a mockery of them. Per former Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse, the ex-POTUS mocks evangelicals behind closed doors. His family has treated the presidency like a business opportunity. He's flirted with white supremacists. He'd even say after a meeting with religious leaders in 2012, can you believe that BS? Can you believe people believe that BS?
This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents, yes, the Constitution.
Via The Atlantic's McKay Coppins, many of Trump's comments about religion are marked by cynicism and contempt, according to people who have worked for him. Former aides told me they've heard Trump ridicule conservative religious leaders, dismiss various faith groups with cartoonish stereotypes, and deride certain rights and doctrines held sacred by many of the Americans who constitute his base. He'd even say, per Tim Alberto's book, those effing evangelicals. He'd add that he would give them the policies and the access to authority that they longed for. In return, they would stand behind him unwaveringly. It is this intersection of three things: sports, politics, and religion that enables and give the likes of Butler free reign to target, go after, and attack with vitriol marginalized communities in this country.
Cries of censorship are everywhere on Fox, with Senator Josh Hawley showing up 3 times in the past 16 days to complain that he's been muzzled.
Guys like Josh Hawley cry out cancel culture at every turn.
What's your take on where we stand with the NFL right now?
Well, I think it's long overdue. I mean, I'm glad that the NFL has finally come around to that this is the right thing to do.
Yet applaud the NFL, in essence, for banishing Colin Kaepernick. Hawley, Goodell, and the like simply followed Trump's lead.
I think it's very disrespectful to our country. You have to stand proudly for the national anthem. Well, you shouldn't be playing. You shouldn't be there. Maybe you shouldn't be in the country. Look, when they take a knee, there's plenty of time to do knees, and there's plenty of time to do lots of other things. When you go down and take a knee or any other way, you're sitting, essentially, for our great national anthem. You're disrespecting our flag, and you're disrespecting our country.
I think it's a terrible thing. And, he'll maybe he should find a country that works better for him. Let him try. It won't happen.
And we would even learn from Stephen Ross, billionaire owner of the Miami Dolphins, along with investor in Equinox and SoulCycle, that NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, via Ross's own sworn testimony, was greatly influenced by Donald Trump's stance on kneeling black players. Additionally, from the Wall Street Journal, depositions given by Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and other owners indicate that Donald Trump's criticism pushed the league to shift its stance. The league would change its rules, mandating players either stay in the locker room / tunnel during the anthem or mandatorily stand if on the field. Legal analyst Michael McCann would even note of the suit filed by Colin Kaepernick that owners were fearful about the capacity and the willingness of President Donald Trump, an ardent critic of Cap and of other players who kneel during the anthem, to damage the league's business and legal interests. From the great Dave Zirin. Colin Kaepernick was blackballed from the NFL for protesting police killings and racial inequity. The NFL's quislings that defended the de facto banning of Kaepernick said, as part of their arsenal of arguments, that the quarterback violated the most important rule of sports, making the games political. They said kneeling during the anthem was a distraction from the game itself, but it was never politics that Kaepernick's foes in the owners' boxes, league offices, and right-wing media sewers had a problem with. It was the ideas that he represented. In a sport where 70% of the players are black, the league wanted to make clear that anti-racism had no place in the NFL. Herein lies a microcosm of our present-day politics. Butker believes diversity to be demonic. His language is violent and eliminationist. The response by the person who is supposed to defend diversity is to say, golly, he's just speaking for himself. The hard right wing of which Butker is a part is ready for war, and the other side wants peace and the flow of money to continue uninterrupted even at the expense of their own existence. Yes, the NFL wants female fans, and yes, they want fans of color, and yes, going soft on Butker risks that. But above all else, NFL executives exist to appease the whims of billionaires in the owners' boxes, most of whom, judging by their bankrolling of Donald Trump, agree with Harrison Butker. The destruction of black bodies for white consumption and profit is an ugly business. Normally, the NFL wants to keep the underlying ideology of its owners under wraps. The biggest problem with Butker is that he vomited it up for everyone to see. I want to tell y'all a story, and it's about a team, the Queen's Park Ladies. This photo is courtesy of Team Green Photography. And to be honest with you and keep it a buck, it's going to make dudes like this cope hard. You see, the Queen's Park Ladies are being dubbed the Invincibles for their run. And that is this season. That has been earmarked and etched in the history books. The Invincibles are a term about 2003, 2004, the 2003-2004 Arsenal Gunners, who were quite invincible under manager Arsene Wenger. What makes this unique is this is the only all-girls team in a boys' league. Located in Bournemouth, the interest in girls' soccer is growing. However, there were limited options when the club began just 6 years ago. Thus, with no two limited leagues available, they played in the boys' leagues. And to be honest with you, they stunk. Toby Green, the team's manager, said going through this initially was rough. because the wins just were not easy to come by.
Well, at first they underestimated us and they were sniggering and they didn't take us seriously. But then we showed them that if they can do it, so can we.
This is Edith, a member of the team. It started with the U7s and U8s. And as Green would say, it's officially a mixed league. But the reality is that it's all boys teams in there. Per The Guardian, Green started the team when his daughter Olivia said she wanted to play football. He had already coached his older daughter as the only girl in a boys team and decided to put together a girls side. However, he wanted them to play in the boys league. Green played the beautiful game during his time with the British Army and works in insurance.
It's just amazing that we all get to do it together and as a team, and that we can show them that we're more than they expected, really.
It was an uphill battle for Green and co from the jump, because per Sky News, they had to overcome initial resistance from county FA bosses who initially told them they would have to play in a girls' competition. What benefited the team most, per Green, was the training they would do together, the commitment they shared, and the fact many on the team had been playing together since they were 5 or 6 years old. He'd say, I think part of it is there is a core of 4 girls who have been playing together since they were in U6s and U7s. They've been playing together for a long time. Even after the attacks from prominent media figures, prominent pundits, critics, and even a former Queen's Park Rangers player, Joey Barton, who we could do a clip of as a standalone because of the grotesque things he has said, and become a darling of the right, they would prevail. And let me tell you about it. However, they saw, before doing so, the consequences for showing their quality on the pitch. The boys get angry when we get the ball off them, said midfielder Millie Ray, who was just 11 years of age. I death stare them, says Skylar May Henschel-Dix, who is 12. Edith would go further. I tell them their laces are undone. Eliza would add, when we first played each of the teams, you could hear the boys laugh when they thought this will be easy. It's a bunch of girls. But 5 minutes into the game, you could see the look on their faces change when they realized what they were up against. Maybe prevailed is an understatement. They would crush the competition, netting 61 goals and only surrendering 11. Here is a final look at the table. This was not necessarily just racking up wins. It was sheer domination. Green would then go on to tell the BBC this. But then the girls came away and worked on their formation, did lots of work on the training ground, went back in as U12s and played 22, won 18, drew 4, lost none, scored 61. Mariah Silver, a member of the team, told the Mirror, it's really exciting beating the boys. We'll leave them crying on the insides. They are savages, man. From iNews, Queen's Park Ladies, whose motto is Be the Best You, began with just 5 girls and now has 150 players across 13 teams running in ages from U6s to U15s. All the coaches, by the way, are volunteers. Additionally, next season the girls will be promoted to the U13's second division, said Green. The girls have done really, really well. They've worked so hard all season, not just in the games, but in their training. He'd tell ITV competing against boys since the U7s has been a steep learning curve, but they've shattered expectations. As the first all-girls team to not only compete but also to win a Bournemouth Youth Football League title, they are true trailblazers in youth football. Indeed they are. And we are seeing the effects of just how damn good they are. Not only growing the game and attracting many others to join, but also the numbers, the power in numbers, the remnant effects to show that you can do it. You can win.